Today's all about defining the jawline. So whether you have a chin reduction to do or just tightening the skin on your jawline, today's video is going to cover that. I'm going to go through step by step and show you exactly the protocol that I would use to define my jawline and tighten the skin. I have some jowls that I'm working on here, and a lot of it has to do with lymph drainage, and I've been really working on my lymph and getting my lymph moving. So I'm going to be 58 in a few months, and I really don't want to look 58. So I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of it. So today's video is all about protocol on how to define your jawline, how to do a chin reduction, or just how to tighten the skin on your lower face. Times and temperatures really do matter. So I have my thermometer here. So I'm going to go through and show you what temperatures you should be keeping your radio frequency at if you're looking for skin tightening, and what temperatures you should be keeping your radio frequency at for fat loss. So it's important to note that if you're doing a chin reduction, you're going to want to do this every 10 days for 3 to 6 treatments. If you're doing it for skin tightening only, once a month. So the handles that I'm going to be using today on my S shape are the 5 milliwatt laser lipo pads, the radio frequency and vacuum handle. The EMS portion is electromagnetic muscle stimulation. And so what that does is it stimulates the top layer of the muscle. So it's going to give my facial muscles a really good workout. You can also use this on other parts of your body, but because we're focusing on the chin and the lower face today, that's what I'm going to be using it on. Then the EL function is electroporation. So what that is basically virtual mesotherapy. A lot of people will use a meso gun to shoot products into their skin, and they're finding that electroporation is actually better because it doesn't break the skin. So I have a little bit of fat here that I want to work on, but I'm going to do that with the radio frequency. I'm not going to do that with the laser lipo. I'm going to get the area ready and get it warmed up with my laser lipo, and then I'm really going to work on this with my radio frequency. While I'm doing that, I'm going to be using my temperature gun to regulate the temperature. It's really important for skin tightening that you don't get the temperature too high, because then you'll risk fat loss. But because I'm working right here for the fat loss and not here, I'm going to be doing different temperatures on my jawline and my lower face. I don't want to lose any fat through here, but I do want to lose it right here. So that's how I'm going to be combining the different temperatures. Products really do matter. So in order to enhance my results, there's certain products I'm going to use for the different treatments. So for the LED light, I'm going to be using a green Robo Serum from Mesama. This green tea Robo Serum has been proven to increase the benefits of LED light by 260%. So why would I not use this before I use my LED light? When I go to my radio frequency, I'm going to be using a specialized radio frequency gel that I absolutely love. This radio frequency conductor is the best that I have found on the market. I will leave a link to everything in the description box below, but this really helps get the radio frequency up to temperature fast. Then for the EMS and EL portion, you don't need a conductive medium for the EMS. If it was a microcurrent, you would need a conductive medium, but because this is EMS, you don't need a conductive medium. For the electroporation part of it, I'm going to be using a hyaluronic acid and a neomycin combination for my serum. So the first step is going to be putting on my green Robo Serum from Mesama. And I'm going to put it all over my lower face. Okay, I'm going to let this sit for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to place on my laser lipo pad. It's been a little over 15 minutes since I put on my green tea Robo Serum. I'm going to set the treatment time for 20 minutes, and I'm going to turn the power all the way up to the max level. So it's important to note that on the settings, of the S shape. There's an M1, M2, and M3 for the laser lipo. So I'm going to be using on the M1, which is a constant, because I really want the LED light, I want the laser lipo to really penetrate and make the fat cell permeable. If I was using the 160 milliwatt laser lipo, it would absolutely start to permeate and start to poke holes in the fat cell. But this is just going to heat the fat cell up really good and give me that skin tightening effect. M2 is a flash, and this is what you would use for skin tightening and product absorption. So if I really wanted to push this green tea serum into my skin, I would use the flash. And then M3 is a faster flash. So M2 and M3 are for maintenance and product absorption. M1 is going to get the area ready and warmed up for the radio frequency. So I'm going to be using a strap to attach the laser lipo pads onto my chin. These haven't always been my friend, so I'm hoping it's not going to give me too big of a problem. I'm going to be placing them along my jawline. Okay, I'm going to leave this on for 20 minutes. Okay, it's been 20 minutes, so I'm going to take my laser lipo pads off. I'm still a little bit red and orange from the green tea robo serum, but I'm red because I had to have the strap so tight to hold the pads in place. So, but it doesn't hurt. It does feel a little bit warm. Just take my temperature. 96.6. So now I'm going to do the radio frequency portion of my treatment. So I'm not using the vacuum portion of this handle yet. I'm going to use the vacuum portion the last 2 minutes of my treatment. So the way I'm going to be doing my chin is I'm going to be doing more of a fat reduction here. So I want the temperature over 104. I'm doing more of a skin tightening on the sides. So I want to keep the temperature right at 100, no more than 103 on the sides, because I want to just induce skin tightening here. I want to have fat loss here and skin tightening here. So with my temperature, with my thermometer, I'm going to keep close attention on these areas. I'm going to be putting my conductive medium on in sections, because when you're doing radio frequency, it has a tendency to dry up faster. So if I just work on one area at a time, I shouldn't have to keep reapplying. So with this conductive medium, you don't want to rub it in your skin. It's not skincare. You just want it lightly on the top of the area. So I'm not rubbing it in at all. I'm going to do 5 minutes on each side and in the middle for a total of 15 minutes. And I'm going to keep taking the temperature as I go to make sure that I'm not overheating the area. So I'm at 101.3, so that's right where I want to be. Again, I'm avoiding this whole area. If you find that your temperature is getting too hot with your thermometer, turn your energy down. I'm at 100.8, so that's right where I want to be for skin tightening. Again, I do not want to go over 104 for skin tightening. I'm just going in circular motions and then going up, doing a lifting motion along my jawline. If you find that the temperature is still getting too warm, remove the wand and let your skin cool down and then proceed. Okay, that was 5 minutes on this side. Now I'm going to do 5 minutes on this side. .4. Now I'm going to do this, but I really want this to heat up over 104 because this is where my fat pocket is. So I kept the sides under 104. Now I'm going to heat this up over 104. More of my radio frequency conductor just to my chin. I'm not rubbing it in. I'm just putting it on so that the handle can spread it. I'm staying clear of my throat, my thyroid, this whole section. I'm just doing here up. So I'm at 100.2. It's really heating up. 106. That's right where I want to be. Okay, the hottest I got it here was 108.5, and you want to keep it no more than 110. So that's what I did. So that was perfect. Now it's time for the drainage portion of my treatment. You always want to go in steps. You heat it, you break it, you drain it. So we heated it with the laser lipo pads. We broke it with the radio frequency, and now we're going to drain it. Most of the handles, all of the handles on the S shape are dual purpose. So the last 2 minutes of my treatment, I'm doing the vacuum. I'm setting the vacuum on a constant suction, a very light suction. I don't want it pulling on my face because I'm tightening it. I want a very light suction, but I still want to be able to drain it. So that's what I'm doing now. Set for 2 minutes at a constant suction, following the lymph. So I want to drain it really good. So you can see it's just a really light suction that I'm using. It's important to do a drain after you do one of these treatments. Okay, I'm all done with the chin reduction, chin lift portion of my treatment. Just removing all of the radio frequency gel and green tea serum. So you can already see that I'm getting a lift. You can already see my jowls have lifted just from this one treatment. So now I'm just going to use an astringent to make sure that I got everything off. I'm doing the EL and EMS portion of my treatment. So this is where you would use a fat dissolver if you had a bigger area of fat. I don't have that big of an area of fat, so I'm not going to use a fat dissolver, but I am using hyaluronic acid and neomycin. When doing EMS or EL, you want to do it in sections because you want to work it. You want to work the product into that area. So I'm going to do it just like I did the radio frequency. I'm going to start here and work my product in. And as soon as my product is absorbed, then I'll move to the next section. And then I'll move to the next section. So that's how I kind of time it out. That's how I kind of time it out, is as the product is absorbed into my skin, then I move to the next area. So in answer to how long does it takes as long as it takes for the product to be absorbed. Whatever product that you're using, it could take a different amount of time for it to be absorbed into your skin. So I'm only going to do it as long as it takes for the serum to get absorbed into my skin. You want to go in circular motions all over the area. I have the EL turned all the way up to a 10, but I only have the EMS set at 1 because it's very powerful. And if you turn your EMS up, it can be a little bit painful. So you can see it's causing my eye to jump just on 1. Again, because this is EMS, you don't need a conductive medium. You can just use your serum. It's a little bit painful around the mouth from the EMS, not the EL. EL is not painful. Always want to avoid the throat and the thyroid. EL, electroporation, is also known as virtual mesotherapy. So when you see someone using a meso gun, you can do the same thing with this handle. These treatments can be done every 10 days for chin reduction or once a month for skin tightening. Serum is starting to dry up now. It's not slipping as well. So that was about 5 minutes on this side. When doing electroporation, you can do it if you're just doing electroporation, you can do it every 8 days for up to 8 treatments, and then maintenance once a month. So I used my S-shape for my treatment today, and it's important to note that the S-shape has dual handles. All of these handles are dual purpose, and because they're dual purpose, you don't always have to use both functions on each of the handles. You can turn the vacuum on 0, so you don't use the vacuum if you want to use the radio frequency, or you can turn the radio frequency to 0 and only use the vacuum. So if you don't want to use both functions on each of the handles, you don't have to. So that's important to know. But if you do want to use both functions on the handles, it just saves time. So just to recap what I did, I started with laser lipo on my chin to get it really warm and ready to receive the radio frequency. So in body sculpting, it's really important to do the heat, break, and drain method. So, and that goes for skin tightening, that goes for any kind of body sculpting that you're doing. So I put a green tea serum on my lower face and my chin, and I let it sit for about 15 minutes, a little over 15 minutes. Then I followed it with 20 minutes low light laser lipotherapy, and I used my S-shape with the 5 milliwatt laser lipo pads. 5 milliwatt is for skin tightening, not for fat reduction. So I was able to get the area heated up really well. Then I followed that with radio frequency. I kept the sides of my face because I just want to chisel this out. I want it tightened, but I don't have fat through here. I kept this under a 104. 104 to 110 is for fat reduction. I kept it right at between 100 and 103. That's right where I want to be for skin tightening. Then for here, this section here, I always avoided my throat. I always avoided this area, but for this area here, I kept it right at a 104 to a 106. So for fat reduction with radio frequency, you want to keep it at a 104 to a 110. Then the same with this side, I kept it below a 104. Then I followed it with my vacuum therapy. The last 2 minutes of my radio frequency treatment, I did 2 minutes of vacuum therapy to drain all of the area that I had been working on, because we do the heat, break, and drain. Then I followed it with my EMS and my EL. You always want to do your EMS and your EL the last step. You do the heat, break, and drain, then you do your product absorption last. So that's what I did. So here are my end results. For my products, I use the Maysama Green Tea Robosurin with the LED light therapy. For the radio frequency, I use the Body by J radio frequency conductor. And then for the EL portion, I use the ordinary hyaluronic acid and neomycin. So I look really hydrated and dewy, and I have my lift. So everything I use in my videos will have links in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Like and subscribe and leave a comment down below.